There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Angel will eventually be a good pro. I don't think Angel will come into the league immediately and dominate the way people think she will.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation accused of mistreating players. One of them is speaking out this morning, telling us why she wanted to transfer.
Well, it's not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
The Indiana Fever are no longer just another WNBA team hoping to sneak into the playoffs. They are building something much bigger. A few years ago, free agents avoided Indiana like it was cursed. Now, players are lining up to join the team. So, what changed? The arrival of Caitlin Clark is the biggest factor, but it's not the only one. For years, the Fever was in a rough spot. The team had not made the playoffs since 2016, struggling with losing seasons and constant rebuilds.
Some footwork, getting up and down the floor, just working on being better today.
Despite having talent like Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, Indiana could not put together a winning formula. The front office made questionable decisions, and the team lacked direction. Some critics, like WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes, even claimed that no top player would willingly sign with the Fever. She described the locker room culture as toxic and believed Indiana was where careers went to die. Then came the 2023-24 offseason. Everything changed when the Fever won the WNBA draft lottery and secured the #1 pick.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes! She hit it!
Everyone knew what that meant. Caitlin Clark was coming to Indiana. The hype around Clark was massive. She was the most watched college basketball player in history, a record-breaking scorer, and a superstar before even playing a WNBA game. With Clark's arrival, free agency took a dramatic turn. Suddenly, players who might have overlooked Indiana before were now considering joining the team. Veterans who wanted to compete for a championship saw the Fever as a real opportunity. The front office capitalized on this momentum, making key moves that strengthened the roster.
The first game, of course, I feel like it was a little bit of a shock. And the way they came out the second game, all we kept saying was like, no, we can't take it back home. We can't take it to Indy. We can't take it to Indy because of the crowd. But
one of the biggest acquisitions was DeWanna Bonner, a 4-time WNBA champion and proven leader. Bonner's experience is crucial for a young team trying to establish itself as a contender. Along with her scoring ability and defensive skills, she brings a championship mentality.
Just moments ago, Natasha Howard stood on stage and was officially announced back here as a member of the Indiana Fever. We welcome you inside Fever Basketball. I'm Pat Boylan, and we are thrilled to be joined.
Then there's Natasha Howard, a versatile forward who has won multiple championships and knows how to contribute to a winning culture. She does the little things that don't always show up on the stat sheet, but make a huge impact on the game. The Fever also traded for Sophie Cunningham, a gritty and tough player known for her three-point shooting and aggressive defense.
Palpable off of Skylar Diggins-Smith. Same goes for Sophie in the joy category. She just loves hooping. Kennedy Carter earning another.
Cunningham brings playoff experience, having been to the WNBA Finals with the Phoenix Mercury. Her ability to spread the floor makes life easier for Clark, giving her more space to operate. The pieces were falling into place. Caitlin Clark was the centerpiece, but she wasn't the entire story. Aaliyah Boston, the 2023 Rookie of the Year, was already a dominant force in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell had been the heart of the team through tough seasons and was now finally surrounded by talent. Lexi Hull provided hustle and energy, the kind of player every championship team needs.
Have you been watching? I mean, that is obviously. It must be cool to watch someone like her just start dominating. You're like, oh yeah, because everyone watched. I think last.
Sue Bird saw what was happening in Indiana and made it clear that the Fever was building something special. When Bird speaks, people listen. She's not known for exaggeration or empty hype. Her 4 WNBA championships and 5 Olympic gold medals give her the credibility to back up her words. Bird acknowledged that Indiana wasn't a championship favorite yet, but she recognized that the foundation was being laid for something big. This shift in perception is massive. A year ago, Indiana was just another struggling team in the league. Now, the Fever is the hottest ticket in town. Ticket sales have exploded, and jersey sales are through the roof. TV networks are fighting for broadcast rights because they know the Fever games will draw massive audiences. Caitlin Clark's presence has brought more attention to the WNBA than ever before. But Indiana's success isn't just about one player.
Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Clark's game is electrifying. Her deep three-pointers, flashy passes, and fearless attitude make her must-watch television. But what makes this Fever team different from other struggling franchises that draft a star is that Indiana didn't just hope Clark would save them. They built a team around her. The Fever's front office made strategic moves to give her the right support system. She won't have to carry the team by herself. She has veterans who can help guide her and teammates who can step up when needed. This approach is how dynasties are built. It starts with a superstar, but the key is surrounding that star with the right pieces. The Fever already had young talent in place, and now they've added experienced players who know how to win. This combination of youth and experience is rare and valuable. The WNBA season is short compared to the NBA, so chemistry is crucial. Teams that find their rhythm early have a huge advantage. That's why having Coach Stephanie White is another important factor. She previously coached DeWanna Bonner in Connecticut, meaning there's already familiarity between the coach and one of the team's key players. That connection helps speed up the process of building team chemistry, which is critical in such a competitive league.
An extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Swoopes, on the surface, may have a point. However, there remains one or a few fundamental flaws in her argument.
Sheryl Swoopes' old take about Indiana being a place to avoid has aged terribly. She couldn't have been more wrong. Not only are players eager to join the Fever, but the team is now seen as a legitimate contender. The perception of the franchise has completely changed. Indiana is no longer a forgotten team. It's a destination. What's happening with the Fever is bigger than just one season. This is the beginning of something long-term. Clark is set to break records. Aaliyah Boston is going to dominate the paint for years, and the veteran additions will help accelerate the team's growth. More importantly, this isn't a short-term project. The moment Clark steps on the court, defenses panic. Defenders have no choice but to step out beyond the three-point line because Clark can pull up from anywhere. That single fact changes the game for her teammates. Suddenly, the lane opens up. Aaliyah Boston now has all the space she needs to dominate inside. Kelsey Mitchell now gets easier shots because defenders are too focused on Clark.
That fourth quarter, you and her combined for 10 threes. How important of a role did she play in closing this game out?
Kelsey was awesome. I mean, she just steps up in big moments. That's just what she's done. She's done it all year, and I'm really happy for her. She's got a ton of confidence, and she's been...
This is why players are waiting to join the Fever. Free agents see the potential. They know that playing alongside Clark means more national TV games, more packed arenas, and more brand opportunities.
Away from what she's done, but if you're talking about breaking records, then if this player did it in this amount of time, then you should do it in that same amount of time. So that's my thought on it.
This is what Angel Reese and Sheryl Swoopes fail to understand. Clark is not just making herself a superstar, she is elevating everyone around her. Sue Bird, one of the greatest point guards in WNBA history, sees the blueprint forming in Indiana. She has seen this before. She built a dynasty in Seattle alongside Lauren Jackson, Breanna Stewart, and Jewel Lloyd. Now she sees Indiana following that same path, but at an even faster pace. The Fever front office understands this moment. They are not sitting back and hoping Clark carries them. They are pushing all their chips in, ready to win now. The signing of DeWanna Bonner was one of the biggest statements of the offseason. At 6 feet 4 inches, Bonner is a walking mismatch. She can score from anywhere, defend multiple positions, and bring the kind of championship experience that young teams desperately need. Bonner is not just a veteran to provide leadership. She is still a dominant player. She can switch on to guards, bang with forwards, and be the defensive anchor Indiana needs in tight playoff games. Pairing Bonner with Natasha Howard only makes Indiana scarier. Howard is a defensive powerhouse with championship pedigree. She brings toughness, grit, and the ability to guard multiple positions. And then there's Clark. So when you put it all together, Indiana suddenly has one of the most dangerous rosters in the WNBA. Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Bonner, and Howard form a core that can compete with anyone. Then, you add key depth pieces like Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson, and suddenly, this team has a legitimate shot to make a deep playoff run. The impact of Clark's presence is already visible in the betting markets. Before free agency, the Fever were long shots to win the title, sitting at around plus 900 odds. But after signing Bonner and Howard, those odds shifted to plus 450, making them one of the top contenders. That is how much these moves matter. Stephanie White, Indiana's head coach, is another major factor in this team's rise. She is not just here to develop young players and hope for the best. She has been in championship locker rooms. She understands what it takes to mold talent into a winning team. And most importantly, she knows how to manage star players. She has coached Bonner before. She knows how to get the best out of her. That connection and trust are already there, which means the Fever do not need time to figure things out. Clark's impact on the Fever is about more than just basketball. She is turning Indiana into a must-watch team. Every game they play is now an event. The arenas are packed. The TV ratings are through the roof. Sponsors are lining up, and every teammate benefits from that spotlight. For a long time, the Fever were overlooked. They were a team that struggled to attract top talent. That is no longer the case. Now they are the team that players want to join. They have a superstar, a championship-caliber roster, and a front office that is committed to winning. Bonner's role in all of this is massive. She is the perfect fit for this team. She brings experience, versatility, and a winning mentality.
Season tickets sold out already.
Yeah, like, don't be dumb, WNBA.
Double prices, but
like,
let's be real. That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
Same thing with Wemby. They put him on TV every day too. Like, let's not overreact about this. Like, this is just smart business.
Some critics will say that the league is making things easier for Clark. The conspiracy theories are already spreading. People claim that WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert wants to see Clark win a championship as soon as possible. Some even argue that she needs a super team around her to succeed. But that's the thing. Clark isn't asking for special treatment. She doesn't need excuses. She is here to win, and she is doing it her way.
I'm sure Caitlin Clark's about to make a lot of money.
She's earning her money right now.
No, Caitlin's balling right now. I mean, I don't have a box score, but at one point, is this where we talk about her being our child? Oh.
Sue Bird understands this because she was once in Clark's position, the face of a franchise, carrying the expectations of a city. But even Bird admits that Clark is doing something different. She isn't just living up to the hype, she is rewriting it. Then there's Angel Reese. The rivalry between Clark and Reese was the biggest storyline in college basketball, but Clark has already moved on. While Reese is still trying to talk, Clark is letting her game do all the talking. The numbers don't lie. Clark's jersey retirement ceremony at Iowa had more viewers than some WNBA playoff games. That's not an opinion. It's reality. For years, people joked that nobody wanted to play in Indiana, that it wasn't a desirable destination. But now, free agents are choosing the Fever like it's the hottest club in the league. Why? Because they see what's happening. They see the foundation being built. They see a young core with Clark leading the way. Sue Bird sees it. WNBA fans see it. Even players around the league see it. This is no longer the Indiana Fever of the past. This is a team with real potential, real talent, and a real future. Now, before you leave, just don't forget to comment down your thoughts on this. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well.